Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Little Reader's House. I'm the Little Reader, also known as Amanda, and a host of other names, but primarily TLR or Amanda here in the house. And you are in my house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new to the scene, if you're just swooping in like a dragon on the wind, what do we do here? We read cards, we meditate, we channel spirit. Ultimately, it all boils down to, you can find more on this in the past 3 lessons, but you don't need to have seen any of them to appreciate this. It all boils down to love. All is love, all is well. But in practical terms, because here in the house we're also big on, as you'll discover in today's transmission, reality. So, all can be love and all can be well, but if one of my limbs is being chainsawed off, or more realistically, I'm slowly starving out of life, can't seem to get ahead, constantly feel at a distance from others, lack of intimacy, unsure of where I'm going, or everything's just very blasé, but I would like to add twists and tweaks. In terms of reality, it ain't all love all the time. That's all I'm saying. But if you look at the title up above, it is all bliss all the time. So make it make sense. That's what we're here to do today, my love. So get cozy, get comfy, and if you're old here, if you're a regular, bless your heart. Bless your mind, bless your body, bless your life. It's a gift to share space and love with you. It's been busy around the house lately, so getting into the comments has been a little bit of a trick, but I will get there, and I will respond and acknowledge you and send love in your direction. So thank you. Our guests, because we have one for nearly every transmission. An American quarter. An American quarter. Oh, let's turn the homie upright so that you can appreciate this. Gaze upon it. And the back, Shenandoah, I think. Oop. Wow. I guess you're just supposed to flip it over, not turn it horizontally, but flip it vertically. Or just do that. We'll come back to that. Don't panic. The second guest in the house is this homemade tarot deck, which is a card from a few tarot decks. You can see the pile of them back there in the corner. And it's the same card, the Sun card. And we're going to look at every single one as we kick off our session. So, get cozy, get comfy, and let's take a tour de sun. I want you to, beautiful soul, whether you're a reader, whether you're into tarot, or whether you're like, hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo, where's the exit? It's in top left. But don't do it, not yet. Whether you're into it or not, take a mom, if you will, that's short for moment, and absorb the energy, if you will, the visual stimuli of this collective tangent of cards, beginning with the sun that has the ring light shining on it. Take a look at this one. Just contemplate it. Take a breath in. This is very angelically focused. It's lovely. Oh, doubt. Microphone. Take a gander at this. The sun. Same traditional meaning. Same thing. Different deck. Isn't that nice? Mushroom-centric. And a nod to the traditional imagery of the sun. A horse on a beach. And you'll find that is a little bit of a theme here. Look at that. Doesn't that just take you places? As I was saying, it's a little bit of a theme. Horse on a beach again. Look at that. This one has a reverse built in. There's some nudity on this one, which, I love, but I'm uncertain of the algorithm's preference for it, so gaze upon it. The sun. Look at that face. Look at it. great, right? Another. And this is all the same card from different decks. The Sun card. What does it mean? What does the Sun card mean? Well, it means happy times, good times. It means joy, liberation, good fortune. Oh, look, I'm in there. Look at that. I'm in the card. This one's real interesting. Tarot of the She. One of my first tarot decks ever. Story behind that we'll get to one day. If you can identify this character, you get mad props from me. One of my favorite characters of all time. I'm not going to breathe a word. But look at that smiling face. Ah, delight. The Sun card. It's like a pinnacle, a peak. Rewards. But it also has this kid on it all the time, who's either naked or semi-naked. And there's an element of innocence here. Freshness. You noticing a color scheme here? Palette. Well, right as I say that, the palette changes. More mushrooms. I'm a big fan. These days, the non-psychoactive variety. But look at that. Glore. Glore. Then wham. None of the original imagery, but the colors are captured. We're almost done, beautiful soul. In case you were wondering. Thanks for your presence. Thanks for hanging out. For enjoying the communion. We're just getting warmed up here. Now, this is an interesting one. This is called the Before Tarot. And this kid is being levitated up onto the horse through the breath of the sun. Just raptured up. Raptured right up. Take it in. Let's wash over you. The sun. Ah. Slightly sad sun. This sun has seen some shit. Look at that. God. Ready for a nap. It's just like sun and pain. That's what I get from it. But then there's this sun. The awakened master. With a little praying mantis there. But no fear. Not gonna bite my head off, nay. Innocence is the namesake of this sun card. The sun. That's nice. Well, you decide. Infinite life force, the artist says. Oh, what's in there? And our last one. Look at that, triumphant. It's a unicorn, not just any horse. Yes, gorgeous. A flag. do you get from that imagery, beautiful soul? Your reflections are welcome, appreciated. Do they move you? Do you have preferences? Can you even explain why you have preferences? Do they inspire, excite, provide any kind of feeling, any kind of emotion, anything at all? Spirit brought the sun to my attention for today's transmission before we began and requested that little exercise to illustrate something. In the traditional tarot, there is the sun, vocalizing free of charge, and then there is the moon. Ooh. And these two oppositional forces exist as archetypes of a type of energy. I need Shenandoah now. You see this coin here? Hi. Could use a cleaning, actually. Sides. Let's say this is the moon. And this, wait, I wanted to flip it correctly, is the sun. So the mind takes this and goes, okay, I'm bright, I'm brilliant, of course, I'm the mind. I created all of this. We'll talk more in a future transmission about just exactly what the mind created and more about the mind. There are also some great transmissions from the past about that. But the mind is not a creator. It's a constructor. It does believe it's a creator, though. So the mind looks around and goes, I got it. There's the sun and there's the moon. There's positivity and there's negativity. Yes, there is light and there is dark. Oh my goodness, there's a binary, it's polarity. I understand it, and the mind's just like all on top of that. So on top of that. And it has been for thousands of years. And so we've been swinging back and forth on this pendulum of across the binary in every which way, in every regard you can imagine. Socially, politically, personally, spiritually, devoutly, religiously, judicially. It's just always like that. We've got our negative, we've got our positive, we've got our sun. This is our optimal outcomes. It's like triumphant light. This one, I don't know if I'd call it an optimal outcome, but like, babies and stuff, like newness and new beginnings, and all is well, and it's just like so good, and I can just eat it. And that's exactly where Spirit's like, hold up, not moving, where we're going, not now. Not here, not for peace. Previous instructions from the divine, or truly you can't get previous instructions from the divine or any instructions from the divine if it's external to you. Anytime there's a mediator to provide you with divine insight, just like me now, take it with a grain of salt. You can communicate with the divine right here from within yourself. Develop a practice, get to listening. If you're as devoted as trying to hear the divine as you are to your smartphone, or even half that devoted, done. You don't need a medium, a conduit, a halfway point, and that goes for all past insights and all future, I suppose. I can't speak to the future. But just a little tip. Anyway, back in the day, the conduits, like the ones who were writing the ancient texts and providing the oral instructions, would give this really strong binary-based instruction. Like, this is good, this is bad, this is negative, this is positive, this is right, and this is wrong, and it's the law. And whether you choose to implement that or not dictates your success, your happiness, your that. Whether or not you get it. But that was morality interpreted by the mind. as we advance, evolve, and continue to dive deeper into this human experience, and I can only speak for Earth because that's where my awareness is at this exact moment, we are growing greater than the mind. We as a collective, you, certainly, are becoming aware that there is life outside the mind. Spirit loves it when this happens. This may or may not be the first time that it's happened. What that means is all the judging, all the binaries, all the polarity. Wait a second. Good. Bad. Good. Bad. Or bad. Good, I'll focus my lens, I'll focus my attention, I'll focus my awareness. I gotta be positive. All this judging that we're doing in our lives. We're never gonna find fulfillment from it anymore. Spirit, and I'm pointing at the ceiling like, Spirit's up there, you just can't see it. I cut it out of the frame. No, Spirit's in here. But Spirit, being the all that is, the greater than this vessel, says that to get to this, mind no do trick anymore. Rather than focus on the positive, which is what so many have defaulted to. And this goes beyond the spiritual community, for the record. People focus on the positive in very secular, scientific ways. Mind training, optimization, experimenting and changing circumstances, optimizing for superior outcomes, technology. The positive can even be related to making coin. You want to be where? In the positive. So this isn't just for those light-hearted, love and light focused souls, beautiful souls, for whom I share incredible understanding with. I also share incredible understanding with my hardcore, third-dimensional based, focused friends who, when they think of positive, are thinking, how do I build? How do I add? How do I get bigger? How do I accomplish more? Right here on this earth plane. Doesn't really matter what your focus is in terms of how you're applying this concept. What Spirit's saying is the focus on the positive, or if you prefer the focus on the negative, doesn't really matter. We're changing it up. We're focusing on the coin now. The entire thing. The whole. The entire coin. Interestingly, in traditional tarot, the sun, even when it was reversed, still meant good things. It didn't have an opposite. And Spirit's take is something really similar today. There is no negative and there is no positive. There just is. In order to perceive something, even the absence of something, meaning the negative, so the absence of love, the absence of money, the absence of opportunity, the absence of connection, of experience, whatever, whether you're perceiving this side or this side, you're actually not perceiving a side. You're just perceiving the coin. If you continue to believe, and it is a belief, that you are perceiving one side and one side only, then you are locking yourself into a very, very, very small experience of this life. And the thing is, it was never really a choice, beautiful soul. So let's take the shame and the blame of the game and just and set it aside. I say you choose because that's the common vernacular in the community. Choose to think positive. Choose to think negative. It's your choice. Bullshit. just sing that one out for you. Predispositions to focus on the absence of things or the presence of things are just that. They are predispositions. They are patterned into the body. They come from ancestral trauma influences, environmental influences. Just when you think you've done something or you've made a choice to change your outlook or to do whatever you think it is you're doing, understand that the external influences that generated that change were responsible. Every time you think you're choosing to do something, know that what you're really doing is leaning into pre-existing patterns. And yes, in the scope of the totality of this universe, they are one in the same. External and internal, boom, one in the same. Microcosm, macrocosm. But because these random events that we perceive are just that, they're untraceable, we can't trace their origin. If you were to win the lottery tonight, for instance, someone might say, I manifested that because they've thought of it before. Someone else might say, I had no way of seeing that that was coming whatsoever. I did not expect that. I didn't even buy that ticket sober. And yet, the same laws apply to both individuals. It's just that subconscious work is at play in one and not at the other. We can dive into the nuances, but that's the mind trying to call our attention back. Make it make sense. Explain it, please. I can't just focus on the coin. I need to judge and analyze everything so that I can keep you right here, thinking. No, beautiful soul. Let it go. Don't blame yourself for the amount of time you've spent in the mind. It was never your fault. It was never your failing. It was exactly as human evolution was ordained, if you will. We've all spent time in the mind. Again, this world we live in was constructed by the mind, for the mind. However, the rising mental imbalances that can be perceived across our world, particularly in the land where this coin harkens from, indicate that the world that was constructed for the mind is no longer working for the mind, and that's exactly how the mind rolls. It doesn't know peace, it doesn't know satisfaction, it doesn't know bliss. It only knows one side of the coin at a time, and it can only apply those judgments one at a time to things, to people, to places. Can't give you the whole picture, but you want the coin. You deserve the coin. You're ready for the coin. That's why you're here. So what's a life of bliss like if bliss is the default? Well, let's go back to those patterns for a second. The light that animates you. There is a life force that animates you. You'll know when it's gone. Well, you might not, but everyone else around you will, because you will no longer be full of life. The life, the electrical impulse, sustained through nutrition, oxygen, water, and a host of other life-friendly factors. That is the light of awareness. It's animating you right now. If you have it, meaning if you're alive, like this video if you are, then you have the ability to tune into, to tap into, to know bliss, to see the entire coin, not just one side at a time. That light that animates you is the core, it's the foundation. But going back to the patterns we mentioned, things sit on top of that light. Starting with the most dense, it's a body sitting on top of that light. And we know if we zoom in molecularly and then atomically and then ionically, I'm just spitballing here. I don't know if that's the lightest layer of reality, but we know if we zoom in far enough, you get to nothing. We know that, and that's the light, and that's the animating force, that magical nothingness. But on top of that sits cells, cells with memory, cells that make up an entire body, that have all kinds of code written into them, code that is stimulated and activated depending on the environmental influences, external and internal environment. Everything that ever happens to you, and check our transmission on free will if you want more on this, or the lack of free will, which is sometimes referred to, I believe, as determinism. Everything that occurs within you, around you, can be traced back to some ripple greater than you. In other words, every time we think we're choosing, or we think we're making something happen, it's quite possible that that thinking is just that. It's just thinking and thoughts, not reality. However, what if that's exactly as it was meant to be? For the rest of this human experience, there is a high likelihood that your awareness, your consciousness, that which is truly you, will dip into patterned reality where you're playing a character, responding or reacting to everything around you and within you. And then you'll dip in to some awareness. I'm bigger than this character. I am bliss. I am the light of awareness. I am peace. I am power. I am magic. And then back you go. Whoop. And out you go, and back you go, and out you go. And your consciousness continues to dip into peace, into bliss, into love, and bring it back, seed it into these patterns. Perhaps that is the flawless plan all along. Bringing godhood, bringing divinity into patterned, binary, one side at a time type of reality. What I'm sitting here to say to you today is that you have the power to shift your awareness to the bliss. It has nothing to do with changing your circumstances. It has nothing to do with changing the way you think. Oh, the mind is not a fan of that. The mind loves a process. The mind will do anything to get your awareness wrapped up in it. Think harder. All you gotta do is look at the whole coin, not just one side at a time. How do you do that? Well, you start a practice, my love. That's step number 1. A one-time experience will give you a little taste. But as soon as the mind gains momentum and control again, it will go to work to distract you, let you know it's not worth the effort, you don't have time, why bother? Here, have a pleasure instead. You know, sip a wine, or maybe a bottle. A vacay, distract thyself. That's the mind's idea. Pleasure. But pleasure's not bliss. Bliss is knowing there's something greater than the mind. The mind is where good and bad, positive and negative exists. But what if you got outside of that? What if you zoom out and actually become consciously aware of the greater picture? That's where bliss is. It's not in here. And no process and no magic tricks. And believe me, I love a good magic trick. It has its place. And we love the mind. We love you, beautiful mind. But it has its place too. No impersonations will do. Only the real deal. And the real deal goes like this. Once you've established a daily practice, I know, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Hate me because I tell you to practice meditation. Once you've begun a daily practice, amazing. Commit to something, some type of meditation. Commit hard. Hard. Do it in the morning, do it in the night. Thank me later. But what about during the regular times like this? How do you see the bigger picture? Well, you take wherever you are, whenever you are, however you are. And you witness exactly what's going on. So if you're in the throes of a conversation, or you're laying in your bed alone, or, not alone, or you're eating, or you're smoking, wherever you are, however you are, whenever you are, you want to see the whole picture. You want to see the entire coin. You gently and lovingly personify the mind. Gently and lovingly. What does it mean, lovingly? Simply means unconditionally, with no expectations, no desire to change. So, wherever you are, whenever you are, however you are, your mind will go to something and start trying to decide which side of the coin. Well, I'm eating chips. That would be bad. Well, I don't like this moment, so that would be bad. I think I need to be somewhere later and I'm going to be late. Bad. You'll notice the mind, the sweet judgment machine, doing what it does best. You gently personify the mind. Say out loud or to it, "Thank you, beautiful mind. I see you, beautiful mind." Your mind believes that it knows something. Something's happened to me. Okay, judging it as bad immediately. Where did it come from? Why did it occur? What's happening here? Judge, judge, judge. I know this, I know that, I know this, I know that. No need to stop it. Don't need to shut it down. No need to jump into a fancy process, although breathing can be phenomenal for providing a slight gap. Notice the thoughts. A regular practice will help with this. And say, "Oh, thank you, beautiful mind. I see you. Thank you, beautiful mind. I see you." Gently personify the mind. For it is in the mind that all of your beliefs, your ideas, your personality, your entire character is stored there. And that's great. I love your character. I love my character too. I'm big on this whole human experience thing. But to experience the bliss that is your destiny, got to get bigger than the mind. And if you can take a moment to say, thank you, beautiful mind. I see you, beautiful mind. First, you'll be amazed at how your mind reacts, particularly with practice. But next, you'll begin to realize, wait a second. Who's thanking the mind? Who loves the mind? Huh. Must be someone who can see the whole coin. And as you go deeper and deeper and more deeply into exploring that identity, that persona, bliss becomes you. That's our practice for today, sweet soul. Do it now. How is your mind reacting to this information? How does it react to this space? It's undoubtedly some side of the coin. The mind never reacts with neutrality. So whether it's good or bad, look at it. Smile at it. Thank you, beautiful mind. Thank you. And if the beautiful and the love is too bold for right now, you just stick it to thank you. Appreciate ya. Just the acknowledgement that the witness is not the same as the judge will take you where you need to go. And it'll take you there fast. Thank you so much for joining me today, my sweet friend. The default is bliss. Bliss is your birthright. Get to practicing. Don't stop now. All is well. And you will know it. Until we meet again, I'm sending you all the love I've got. All of it. If you loved this, do that YouTube thing. Like it. Subscribe. Share it with a friend. That would be crazy. Share it with a friend. Yeah, and we'll meet again, my friend. We'll meet again. Bye for now.